Peggy 18.
I always dreamt of leaving this place. Becoming more than a peasant.
You know the trouble with an adventurous life? It can end before it gets started.
Congratulations, Sir Knight. You finally become a man.
Wake up! Pull yourself together, Henry.
Nobody will hand anything on a platter to men like you and me.
You still have a long way to go till your work is done.
O merciful God, be kind and protect us so we don't blow our arses off. Amen.
Has this day been coming for about 6 years now? Yes, it probably has. Kingdom Come 2 Deliverance. Shit. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has finally been announced, and there is so much information to tell you about this game. A couple of weeks ago, Warhorse Studios invited me to an event where we got to sit down and we got to see the first trailer, along with a bit of talks from Warhorse themselves about what we're going to experience within this sequel. It is, of course, a direct sequel to the original game. That was all the way back in 2018. I didn't think it had been that long, but my God. The first thing that I thought as I was playing this is, there is nothing like this on the market. This is such a unique spin on it, a single-player, story-driven experience that is just you playing as this squire, or soon-to-be knight, I hope, in the world. Playing as Henry, of course, you are going through this well-crafted storyline in medieval Bohemia in 1403. The first game followed us from our rise up after our village was attacked and the death of our parents, through every missions and the characters we met, such as Sir Divish, Teresa again, and Teresa in a different costume. And everything was so well crafted within that. The RPG was more in depth than I'd played in a long time. You couldn't even read at the start of the game. You had to slowly learn those skills, so by the end, well, you could actually be some sort of feasible human being within the land. Not even to mention fighting and being a bandit killer. Sir Hans Capon was a huge character that you met throughout, and at the end of that game you rode off to go to Prague to go and find and get help because, I mean, there's invading armies coming and bigger battles on the horizon. And that's where we were left. We don't know too much about where this story's going to go, the weaving twists and turns, but we do know Henry is back, Hans Capon is back, and a plethora of other characters that we saw in the past. Not only this, but the mechanics will be somewhat similar, but with some great improvements as well. The first thing that we can see is some hand cannons. Yes, gunpowder was introduced around this time, so we're actually going to be able to play around it a little bit. We didn't get that within the first one. The only projectile weapons we had were really bows to play around with, and I guess chucking shit at somebody's house within the first mission. We also have crossbows, which are going to be another addition. I'm excited to see these two new very powerful projectile weapons to see how they play into the game. I think they're going to be a different type of playstyle. Unlike bows, where it's incredibly inaccurate but fast firing, crossbows and hand cannons are probably going to be the opposite of that. Shotguns of their day are going to be blasting up the walls as you do bigger and better sieges. And that's what we can mostly gather from these trailers. This is going to be a much bigger scaled game. I think they mentioned there was 15, 20 people working on the first Kingdom Come. Now we have over 100 people in Warhorse Studios now, truly pushing on that AAA budget. And I cannot wait to see how that is translated within this world. I mean, going from something that was a Kickstarter that, granted, yes, did raise a lot of money in its early phases, to now, which has millions and millions of dollars backing it, and a huge team of incredibly skilled artists, designers, coders, so on and so forth. There is so much to look forward to. Graphically, there is a huge step up. We still have our very famous trebuchets and, of course, blood and gore. No, we don't need to be buying any blood and gore DLCs here. And we're moving through to different parts of the Czech Republic, with executions and our main villain, who is making a return, this time in much better quality. You see, back in 2018, it was made on the CryEngine, and it was a great looking game, but until I saw this trailer, I didn't realize that how dated some of it does look now, because Kingdom Come 2, the fidelity on this is unlike anything that I have really ever seen in this genre. Still playing as Henry, I'm pretty sure there is going to be a complete change to the way we start this title. You see, as mentioned at the start of Kingdom Come 1, you have no skills. You're a blacksmith's son. You can't read, you can't fight, you can't run properly without sounding like an asthma-infused Stephen Hawking. But in this game, it's going to be a bit different. We've played through the whole of Kingdom Come Deliverance, so we will be leveled up, we will be upgraded, we will be able to fight and read and do all of these things. Now, Warhorse have said that whilst you'll get so much from playing the first game into the second, that you can play and jump straight into the second game without ever even touching the first Kingdom Come or knowing what it is. Which means that all the skills and things that you learn, the specifics won't be in there, but you will be already a pretty well-trained knight and ready to go and conquer some lands. But with duels coming back, with boss battles coming back, and with even bigger, better battles, better sieges and skirmishes, I'm assuming that it's probably going to be scaled in conjunction with it. You might be a better and well-rounded soldier, but you're also going to be up against better and well-rounded armies, much bigger armies as well. Whether we're fighting in forest battles or defending villages, and of course, trying to get our sword back. Is that spoilers? I guess that kind of is. Oh well, it's just a sword. We lost it. We want it back. Petting dogs, once again making a return, because what would the game be without it? Many of the same features of finding armor, smithing armor, being able to sustain it and your weapons, but going to blacksmiths, trading with people, and all these RPG elements are going to be throughout Kingdom Come 2 as these thread lines that hold it together through these mechanics. However, most of what we've seen from trailers is basically showing off this new story. It looks like we're going to have missions of blowing up sieges, blowing up keeps, of course, putting gunpowder in areas. We've got a new trader master as well. And of course, just because we are Henry, there's got to be a topless scene and plenty of scenes of love. Because what would Kingdom Come Deliverance be without a few raunchy sex scenes? Firing crossbows on the back of horses, it sounds fun. And also, I love the design on this one. I hope that this is fully customizable. And I think there's going to be a lot of this with all the new weapons and armor that's going to be included within Kingdom Come 2. Let's talk a bit about the combat, because that was a controversial point of the first game. I, for one, loved it. I loved the way that it was so tricky to get a hang of, but once you'd master it, you felt like an absolute badass, and there were so many different techniques that you could use. It was probably the closest that we've had in a game to more realistic medieval combat, especially when fighting one-on-one. But we found those issues when it came to bigger scale battles, locking onto targets, that it started to come in where it felt a bit more clunky and janky, and I think that's where it put a lot of people off. They've mentioned that the combat system has been improved massively. Now, I think it's probably going to be going along the same lines, but I'm hoping, and from what we can see from trailers and little bits of information, it's going to be much more free-flowing. It's going to be way more slick than what we got before. And I'm hoping, because some of these battles are going to be bigger, that, well, fighting against multiple opponents and enemies at once isn't going to be too much of a hassle these days. Graphically, the game looks gorgeous. Lighting is another level that I have not seen in a title before. And whilst you can't glean too much from the trailers, I mean, looking back at the first Kingdom Come, the trailers and the game itself were very, very similar in terms of graphical fidelity and the time and effort that's been put into crafting this world. It's so rare to get a title like this. and I cannot wait to see what it leads to see what stories are still to be told within Bohemia. And I think because of the first game and how well that story was crafted, I think they're going to be able to knock it out the park with this one as well. Once again, taking on the eyes of Henry, a young man on a quest to avenge his murdered parents. With over 5 hours of cutscenes, we go from a warrior to a rebel, crossing paths with charismatic cast of characters and a little bit of a hint as to what we're going to be getting with that story itself. Not necessarily always being on the good people's side, but at least the right side, at least I'd hope. But these are decisions that you can all make within Kingdom Come, and that's just part of that RPG experience that I'm very much looking forward to seeing. As a few housekeeping bits, the game will be coming out by the end of 2024, which is very exciting since we don't have years to wait for this thing. Once again, being on the CryEngine, it looks just as beautiful, and it is still a single player only game, or at least that's what we've been told so far. Releasing on PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S, and X. I cannot wait for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. There's going to be way more information as soon as it comes out on the channel, so make sure you stick around. But until then, I will see you in the next one.